interpretation into the other official languages may be provided properly. I invite Her Excellency Maropene Ramokopa, Minister of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation of South Africa, on behalf of a group of member states, to address the Assembly.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. It is my honor to deliver the statement on behalf of Australia, Brazil, Cabo Verde, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Georgia, Lesotho, Luxembourg, Mexico, Norway, Spain, Sudan, Uruguay, Vietnam, and definitely my own country, South Africa. 30 years ago at the First World Summit, we pledged to put people at the center of development. Guided by the principles of Copenhagen Declaration on Social Development, we reaffirm our commitment to a just, equitable, and inclusive global order based on respect for human rights, including the right to development. Sustainable development requires the full integration of economic, social, and human rights dimensions with people and planet at its core. Persistent inequalities within and among nations threaten the realization of all human rights. We therefore call for renewed political will and multilateral solidarity to do the following: to address structural barriers that perpetuate poverty and inequality, reform the global financial architecture so that it serves all nations equitably, expand fiscal space through progressive taxation, debt sustainability, and international cooperation, allowing for countries to invest in inclusive, gender-responsive, social and economic policies. We reaffirm that universal social protection systems are essential enablers of social justice and sustainable development. We emphasize that gender equality and sexual and reproductive health and other rights are integral components of universal health coverage of a strong social protection infrastructure. Guaranteeing access of these rights for all is fundamental to reducing inequality, improving well-being, and ensuring that social development benefits everyone without discrimination. When women and girls can decide freely about their health and future, access decent work, and access strong social protection policies, families, communities, and society will thrive. The pathway to social development demands renewed commitment and collective action. Let us build societies where equality is non-negotiable, where health and rights are guaranteed for all, and where every person can live with dignity, justice, and opportunity. I will now deliver remarks in my national capacity. On behalf of the government of the people of South Africa, I extend warm greetings and sincere congratulations to the state of Qatar for hosting the Second World Summit for Social Development. South Africa aligns with the statement delivered by Iran on behalf of the Group of 77 and China, and the group statement delivered by Chile. It is an honor to deliver the national statement of the Second World Summit 3 decades after President Nelson Mandela addressed the First World Summit in 1995. We carry forward the same conviction that social development is what makes freedom meaningful. Substantial strides in building a social protection framework that reaches millions of our people. We now provide monthly grants to over 44% of our population, underpinned by carefully targeted measures that have reduced hunger, poverty, and inequality while supporting human dignity, social cohesion, and stability. Build on a strong protection system, our recent reform initiative also aimed to strengthen the professionalization of social services sector and policies to protect people with disabilities. Despite these strides, poverty, inequalities, and unemployment, especially among youth and women, remain high. Many of our people remain vulnerable to economic shocks, climate change, food insecurity, and inadequate access to social services. Our work is far from complete. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa commits to the following priorities which we believe that are important for both national development and for global social progress. Strengthening social protection systems to be more universal and also rights based on shock responsives so that no child or older person with a disability or informal worker is left behind. We also are building resilient in the face of climate change, pandemics, and other systematic shocks, including securing food, water, health services, and social infrastructure. In this regard, we wish to express our sympathies with the government and people of Jamaica following the destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa. This serves as an excellent example of resilience in the face of systematic shocks and the need to strengthen our preparedness and of any other eventuality. During our G20 presidency, initiatives such as the call to implement universal social protection systems and social protection floors were adopted by the G20 ministers responsible for development. If implemented, they would go a long way towards reducing poverty, also investing in our people. South Africa commits to investing in social development, strengthening transparency, and participating in policy making, sharing best practices with Global South, and mobilizing resources so that development remains central to sustainable development. Your Excellency, South Africa condemns the abhorrent attacks in Sudan that have targeted civilians, including children. This humanitarian crisis has also seen the targeting of essential civilian infrastructure. We need a mechanism that will assist and also result in peace and to prevent further suffering to the people of Sudan, particularly women and children. We also remain concerned about the plight of Palestinian people, most especially those in Gaza. South Africa remains committed to the reconstruction of Palestine that leaves no one behind and a two-state solution. The state of Palestine on Israel, whose viability depends on full universal respect of international law. Your Excellencies and distinguished delegates, South Africa stands ready to work in partnership to share our experience, to learn to act. We believe that the courage, determination, solidarity, and innovative thinking, we can make the Second World Summit of Social Development a turning point for a more just, inclusive, and definitely a sustainable world. Thank you very much.
I thank the Minister of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation of South Africa. Before I invite the next speaker, I would like to appeal to speakers to kindly deliver their statements at a reasonable pace so that interpretation into the other official languages may be provided properly. I now give the floor to Her Excellency Sanni Grahn-Laasonen, Minister of Social Security of Finland.
Thank you, Chair. Excellencies, Finland expresses its appreciation to Qatar for hosting this important summit and to Belgium and Morocco for their leadership in the negotiations towards the political declaration. The pursuit of social justice for all lies at the heart of the United Nations mission and the Sustainable Development Goals. It's closely linked with long-term peace building and conflict prevention. The society's resilience to crises relies heavily on social cohesion and trust. The Doha Political Declaration renews global commitment to social development and provides a strategic foundation for global solidarity and inclusive progress, recognizing that environmental challenges are social challenges. Finland reaffirms its strong commitment to effective multilateralism with the UN and its core. We fully support UN 80 reform and envision a United Nations that's fit to deliver on its promises to people and the planet. Finland is committed to human rights, including labor rights and non-discrimination. Finland stands firmly for advancing gender equality with particular emphasis on sexual and reproductive health and rights. Finland has pioneered social innovations, building its welfare state on universal services and equal opportunity. Over the past century, Finland's investments in maternity care, free education, school meals, and public childcare have improved well-being and enabled women's full participation in working life. The family leave system promotes shared caregiving. These policies have strengthened both quality of life and economic growth, highlighting this synergy between social and economic policy. For 8 years in a row now, Finland has been ranked as the happiest country in the world. We have a high trust society built on whole of government and whole of society approach. True sustainability means protecting the well-being of future generations, starting with strong and universal social protection systems that ensure dignity, security, and opportunity for all. As youth is the future, I now quote Kevor Tikepu, who is Finland's UN Youth Delegate and is sitting right now behind the Finnish flag in this plenary hall. Every social issue we face today and tomorrow is ultimately an issue of young people. When we are unable to make sustainable solutions today, it is young people, especially those socially disadvantaged, who pay the price tomorrow. According to Kevor, we often speak of social inclusion, but rarely do we match these words with action. Promises without investments are empty promises. Young people cannot innovate without education or work in jobs that do not exist. Social sustainability is about future generations. Kevor states that young people want to be hopeful. They want to be parents and have a meaningful life. He continues that our responsibility is to provide them with resources and means to realize a dream of future without war or social instability. Kevor concludes with a clear message. To succeed in finding solutions for social prosperity, do not only inspire young people, equip us, listen to us, and even better, let us decide to lead and to act. Thank you very much.
I thank the Minister of Social Security of Finland. I now give the floor to His Excellency Mahinur Esdemir Göktaş, Minister for Family and Social Services of Turkey.
Dear Chair, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, on behalf of the Republic of Turkey, I extend my warm greetings to you and congratulate the State of Qatar for hosting the successful summit after 30 years. I am pleased to come together to redefine the future of social development and strengthen a new spirit of global solidarity that places people at the center. In the 30 years since the 1995 Copenhagen Summit, one lesson has become clear. True development is not measured by numbers of growth rates. It should be measured by the people's level of social cohesion and their living conditions based on human dignity. Today, our world is being tested by major challenges. Inequalities are deepening. The risks of digital age are growing as much as its opportunities. Family bonds are weakening, and loneliness is becoming a new form of poverty. Demographic changes are bringing social policies to the spotlight more than ever before. In particular, social isolation and the fragmentation of communities once again highlight the family's role as a safe haven for all. On the other hand, countries experiencing a fertility crisis have realized that population growth is actually the driving force behind development. As Turkey, we regard social policies as the cornerstones of social welfare alongside a strong economy and stable governance. Under the leadership of our President, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan, we are implementing a fair and inclusive development approach through people-centered social policies. This approach fosters a new balance between working life, education, health, and social life. With our policies based on this understanding, we ensure that women are empowered in economic and social life and that children are protected from all forms of neglect and abuse. In addition, we prioritize the rights of persons with disabilities to live independently, promoting the active and healthy lives of older persons, and ensuring young people to grow into productive and capable members of society. We are transforming our social assistance from short-term relief to lasting empowerment so that our citizens are not only beneficiaries of support but active contributors in social development. Dear participants, war and conflict, migration, poverty, disasters, and the climate crisis have become challenges that all countries must address with shared responsibility. These problems are deepening humanitarian crisis. Unfortunately, we have seen this crisis directly in Gaza, where innocent people are being deprived of their most basic right. At the same time, the serious changes in the demographic shifts of countries due to these problems are leading to fractures in the social structure and disruption in economic balances. Due to rising population density in cities, protecting people at risk is becoming more critical than ever. At the same time, digital inequalities are deepening gaps in access to information and opportunities. Children and young people face threats such as online violence, addiction, and privacy violations. Those challenges are complex, interconnected, and affect the entire world. No country can handle this problem alone. The message of Doha Political Declaration is clear. Lasting peace, sustainable prosperity, and development begin with people above all. This summit is also a valuable opportunity to reaffirm our international commitments to the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. Unfortunately, given the current pace of progress, the goals of ending poverty and ending hunger remain out of reach. We have only 5 years left to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Therefore, we must take comprehensive steps and make large-scale investments. To achieve this goal, there is a need for a more equitable distribution of resources, stronger international solidarity, and prioritizing of social investment. Social policies must be redesigned not only within national borders, but also on a global scale, centered on justice and solidarity. As Turkey, we are determined to build a future where no country is left behind and where decent living conditions are ensured for everyone. We firmly believe that by acting together, we can build a more just world. Guided by this belief, we invite all countries to strengthen solidarity and come together around the people-centered vision of development. Thank you.
I thank Her Excellency, Minister for Family and Social Services of Turkey. I now give the floor to Her Excellency Laila bint Ahmed Awad Al Naja, Minister of Social Development of Oman.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صاحب السمو الشيخ تميم بن حمد آل ثاني أمير دولة قطر، أصحاب الجلالة والفخامة والسمو، معالي أمين عام الأمم المتحدة، أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، السيدات والسادة الحضور، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يطيب لي أن أنقل إليكم تحيات حكومة سلطنة عمان وتمنياتها الصادقة بنجاح أعمال هذه القمة الهامة والتي تجمعنا مجدداً لتقييم مسيرة التنمية الاجتماعية في عالمنا. نجتمع اليوم في الدوحة في قمة شعارها الأمل المتجدد والمدفوعة بالالتزام والعمل الجماعي والمسترشدة بالرؤية التحويلية للتنمية الاجتماعية التي تضع حقوق الإنسان والاستدامة البيئية والرفاه الاجتماعي في أعلى سلم أولوياتها. كما نرحب بالتقدم المحرز نحو التنفيذ الكامل لإعلان كوبنهاجن وبرنامج العمل المشترك على مختلف المستويات الوطنية والإقليمية والعالمية
and its joint program of action at various levels, national, regional and global. Since the launching of the Oman 2040 vision, the Sultanate of Oman plays placed social development at the very core of its national policies as a foundation for preparing and enabling a human being to actively contribute to the development of their nations. His Excellency the Sultan declared that true social development begins and ends with human beings. Justice, equality and the rule of law underpin modern state. Hence, the Sultanate of Oman adopted an inclusive approach underpinned by three key axes: poverty eradication, strengthening social protection, decent work for all, and social inclusion, in addition to the provision of a society of solidarity. The social protection system launched in 2023 constitutes a main transformational landmark in the social policies in the Sultanate. It represents a quantum leap in terms of complementarity and justice in the distribution of social benefits, focusing on equal opportunity, decent income for all, and a unified program of benefits and support for all. On full and productive employment, the Sultanate focuses on a productive and inclusive economy that balances economic growth with social stability. This through the adoption of a national employment strategy focusing on aligning education and training with the needs of the labor market now and in the future, and which encourages entrepreneurship and innovation as an alternative to government employment. The Sultanate adopted decent work policies in collaboration with ILO, the provision of an equal pay environment, and focusing on professional health and safety. On social inclusion and the strengthening of justice and equality, the Sultanate focused on social inclusion through the promulgation of the law for the persons with a disability, through the launching of a care program as well for the elderly, which improves their quality of life and guarantees their rights. We focus equally on family cohesion, and we recognize that this is not a momentary option, rather it's a continuous endeavor that requires assessment and regular review. The development of monitoring and social assessment programs based on detailed data and on evidence-based policies. To conclude, our experience in social development embody a firm conviction that the best of investments is that placed on human beings, that social justice is not a separate goal, rather it's a very prerequisite for stable and prosperous societies. To conclude, I wish to thank the State of Qatar for the very warm and generous welcome. Thank you for your kind attention.
I thank the Minister of Social Development of Oman. I now give the floor to His Excellency Masagos Zulkifli, Minister for Social and Family Development of Singapore.
Thank you, Chair. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Singapore is committed to advancing social development and to ensuring that growth remains inclusive and people-centered. We reaffirm our support for the Copenhagen Declaration on Social Development and its program of action, and will continue to contribute towards the global implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Since its independence in 1965, Singapore has made steady progress in strengthening social resilience and uplifting the lives of its citizens, guided by our mission to nurture resilient individuals, strong families, and a caring society. We have developed an integrated approach to enable everyone to share in Singapore's progress and opportunities. Singapore's social compact is built on mutual trust and shared responsibility. between the government and our people, and is the foundation that enables us to tackle challenges together. The government creates opportunities and provides an enabling environment through education, housing, and healthcare. In turn, individuals and families take responsibility for their own progress, while communities and businesses play active roles in supporting one another. This partnership model ensures that growth remains inclusive and that every Singaporean has a stake in our shared future. As society evolves, so too must our social compact. Through the Forward Singapore exercise in 2022, we engaged more than 200,000 citizens to refresh and co-create a collective vision for the years ahead. Singaporeans have shared that success should not be measured only by economic progress, but also by purpose, fulfillment, and belonging. These aspirations now guide our social policies to empower individuals, strengthen families, and build a more caring and cohesive society. Singapore strongly believes that families form the bedrock of society. Families nurture resilient individuals and cohesive communities. Our Singapore Made for Families program aims to support families at each life stage. The government has double government-paid paternity leave to normalize shared parenting and continues to expand access to quality, affordable preschools, ensuring that by 2025, 8 in 10 preschoolers will have a place in the government-supported preschool. To support work-life harmony, we have introduced workplace fairness legislation and entrenched flexible work arrangements as a workplace norm to enable both women and men to better balance their work and caregiving responsibilities. Singapore takes an upstream, family-centered and empowerment-based approach to uplift lower-income households. Our flagship program, ComLink Plus, helps families with children achieve stability, self-reliance, and social mobility. Each family is supported by a dedicated family coach who journeys with the family to co-create customized action plans, coordinate services, and provide ComLink Plus progress packages to recognize the family's efforts in employment, education, and savings. Complementary programs such as Kids Start provide early and sustained support for parents and children from the antenatal stage, narrowing gaps in the early years and enabling parents, especially mothers, to return to work confidently. Singapore's experience demonstrates that social progress is sustained through cooperation, co-creation, and collaboration. We work together across government, community, and business to strengthen families and uplift lives by cooperating across sectors, co-creating communities, and collaborating to deliver comprehensive and coordinated support. We build trust, strengthen our social compact, and amplify the impact of every helping hand. Chair, Singapore's experience has shown that when trust is strong and every segment of society plays its part, we can overcome challenges together. We remain committed to working with international partners to share experiences so that we can learn from one another as we build inclusive, caring, and resilient societies where every person can live with dignity and purpose. Thank you.
I thank the Minister for Social and Family Development of Singapore. I now give the floor to His Excellency Valdrak Ludwig Yengche Viteka, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Nicaragua.
Speaker is not in the room, Ambassador, so we will just pause for a few minutes.
Okay. I understand His Excellency. The Minister for Foreign Affairs of Nicaragua is not in the room, so we'll pause for a few minutes to give His Excellency time to make his way into the room. I thank you. Sub-item B of Agenda 25 entitled Social Development, including questions relating to the world social situation and to youth, aging, persons with disabilities, and the family. Before giving the floor to the first speaker on the list of speakers, delegations are reminded that statements are limited to 5 minutes. I would like to appeal to speakers and the family. Before giving the floor to the first speaker on the list of speakers, delegations are reminded that statements are limited to 5 minutes. I would like to appeal to speakers to deliver their statements at a reasonable pace so that interpretation into the other official languages may be provided properly. I invite Her Excellency Maropene Ramokopa, Minister of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation of South Africa, on behalf